welcome. We're going to open up with a public hearing for today, July 29th. And the public hearing is to discuss the renewal of the liquor license for the shed. All right. Everybody has their packets, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So if I can, Madam Chair, I can go over the information that we've gathered from the town point. And I'm looking for the applicant. I think it's going to be him. Just see if I can turn his camera on.
Looking for me, Joanne?
Yes, there you are. Did you get my message? I tried reaching you today.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it.
All right, so I put your camera is on, Bill, if you want to turn it on and stay on the volume piece. There you go. Okay. All right, so this is the renewal application for the shed located at 1060 Route 109. The application has been reviewed. Everything is complete in the packet. The fee was paid. We've got everything on the town side. We did reach out to the fire chief, as we do with all liquor license renewals, and you'll see in your email packet that fire chief has met with Mr. Palladino and does not have any concerns. So that email is in there. There is also an email in there proving that it was posted legally in the newspaper for a requirement. And then the other document that you have in your packet is the last year's worth of calls from the York County Sheriff's Department. You all have a copy of this. I've gone through and cross-referenced a couple of questions that I had to see if there was any way of tying them to the restaurant. There's really not. In effect, remember we learn each year that they use the address closest to the incident. So a lot of times, you know, where it says motor vehicle stop, it may just be that they stopped in front of the restaurant, but it's not tied to the restaurant. So there's a lot of alarm calls. I don't know if Bill has, if there's an issue with the alarm system. It looks like they're there often for that. Building checks and alarm calls, quite a few of that. Couple of.
How many is quite a few? How many is quite a few, Joanne?
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12 on the first page. But this is over a year, Bill.
All right.
Does the alarm go off a lot, like inadvertently, or a motion detector or something?
I know we did have an issue with one of the motions that we finally resolved.
Okay, I can send you a copy of this just so you can look at it at some point. But
Yeah.
in any event, okay, in any event, those burglaries or building checks wouldn't have anything to do with your liquor license. I just didn't know if you were aware of that. We've got some motor vehicle. We've got one civil complaint, and that was in July 23rd. It just says completed, report taken. But other than that, there's nothing that ties anything that might be going on at the restaurant. So, if the board has any questions on that report, but there's really nothing there.
No, I don't have any questions on anything. I just want to clarify. It's for KB Restaurant Enterprises, doing business as the Shed Restaurant. It's also known as Willie's Ale Room, Ale House, whatever. So, yep, nope, no questions from me. I think it's fine.
In regards to the advertising that we've done, Madam Chair, we did not get any emails or anything from the public. Nobody reached out to me via email or phone call with any concerns.
Okay. Do we want to open up to public comment at this time?
Yeah, or maybe see if David's got anything.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm all set up.
I mean, everything looks good here that I've got. I don't see anything that's alarming, so yeah, why don't we open up to the public and see if anybody has any comments?
All right, so I'm going to go around and ask people to start their video. If you decline my invite to start your video, we're going to assume that you have nothing that you want to say. There's also a chat button at the bottom that you're welcome to use if you're calling on a phone. Just give me a minute. Make sure everybody's had their chance. All right.
Lack of interest.
I'm still going through everybody. Don't give up yet, Bill. I'm not finding anybody that, Dan, is it still set up? Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Berlin is, she's accepted the camera invite. Let me unmute her. She may have something she wants to say. Oh, just a second, Leslie. Oh, there we go.
I'm sorry, I stepped away for a moment. What are we talking about?
We're talking about, this is a public hearing for the shed.
No, I have nothing to say.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did I raise my hand?
I turned the videos on to see if anybody wanted to speak on the public hearing, so you accepted, so I wasn't sure.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm good with that. With that, yeah.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'm not seeing anything else. Dan, are you seeing anything that I'm missing?
I am not.
Oh, Joyce is unmuted. I mean, it has turned her camera on. Let's see if she's got something she wants to add. Joyce, I think you're muted, but your camera is on. Do you want to add something on the public hearing?
She's shaking her head no.
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Enjoy the shed. We enjoy the shed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I see Arnie Martell's camera is live.
Mr. Martell?
Yep.
Any input on the shed liquor license? Mr. Martell?
What's, yes, sir.
All set.
All set.
All set on the, okay. All right, so I'm turning their cameras off. All
Okay.
right, I don't see anybody.
All right. Well, with the applicant, do you have anything you'd like to say, or?
No, I'm good.
He's good. Well, so how about a final call for any public comments?
I guess I'll ask a question. In the paperwork for application, and I know we attempted to do this a number of years ago, but the town there was still things going on around town. But there's a part of the application is after so many years, is it necessary to have a public hearing? And that's really up to the town's government to decide. I mean, it's 16 years now that we've been operating that business, and it does cost the town money to do it. It wouldn't say that you would have no say in the application renewal, but it would just save the town the funds of, I think, I don't think you have to do the advertising, maybe, Joanne, and you don't have to have the, or Jennifer, rather, I'm sorry. There's specifics that you don't have to do any longer. And it's really up to you guys. It doesn't matter to me, but, we do this every year. This is 16 years now.
So Mr. Palladino is correct. There is a clause in the law that allows for the Board of Selectmen to approve liquor licenses without public hearing. It's something that, you can discuss next year when they come in. The only expense to the town is running it in the newspaper. Remember, the applicant does pay an application fee that essentially covers that. We've got a lot of restaurants in town, and we've got a lot of residents in town, and I think my personal opinion is that it does do justice to be able to hear from the residents, even in this case, if there aren't any, to treat all of them the same. And, for the matter of, we're going on 15 minutes, that, at least you were transparent and maybe attempt to hear somebody should they so choose.
Yeah, and I think, it sounds like a good idea, but we just renewed another liquor license, and there was a couple complaints that we were able to work out during the last one. So it was kind of beneficial to have this, and it's only one night, so.
I'm good. What do you guys want to do?
Yeah, I agree.
We're just throwing it out there.
Thanks.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the liquor license for
So,
Restaurant Enterprises.
can't do that in a public hearing.
You're right. Never mind. Disregard.
Yeah.
Forget it. Get ahead of myself. No
Sorry. It's going to be on. We're going to add it to the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Okay.
But I'd like to make a motion. We close the public hearing. There we
There you go.
That's actually what I meant to say.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All right.
No, that's why.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. So,
Jennifer, You
Yes,
know
sir.
what we're doing is, are we gonna pick up a copy? Is that, with everything being so messed up this year?
Yep, so assuming that it goes under new business tonight and the board signs it, they'll sign it sometime tomorrow. You're welcome the first of next week, pick up a copy and mail it in with your check. As I understand it, they're cashing the checks and just sitting it on someone's desk, so.
Okay.
But definitely want you to pick it up and send it in.
Yeah, no, they've already got our check, so,
So yeah,
All
no,
right.
you'll be able to pick it up once I get signatures, assuming it's approved.
okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we've moved and seconded this. Any other questions? Are we good? Let's take a vote.
You're voting to close the public hearing, correct?
Yes, we are. So let's take a
All in
vote.
favor?
Okay. All in favor, sorry.
Do it by name.
So yeah, we're on here.
Do it by
So
name.
Ed,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and yes for me. Thank you.
You're welcome to stick around, Bill. I don't expect any problems. You can touch base with me tomorrow or Friday if you want.
Okay, thanks.
I'm gonna turn your
going.
video off. Okay.
Yep, bye.
Bye.
Now we're gonna go into the selectmen's meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Ed, you're throwing me for a loop.
Why?
All right. Are we ready to call this meeting to order?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Selectmen's meeting of July 29th. We're going to call this meeting to order.
Flag.
All right, we're going to do the flag next, so let's all get up and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag,
of the United States
United States of America,
and to the republic
to the republic
for which it stands,
which stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
with liberty
and
and
justice
justice
Oh,
for
for
all.
all.
Thank you. All right. So, town administrator weekly updates.
So just a few things tonight. The first item that I wanted to talk to you about is the fitness center. So now that the town meeting has come and gone, you know what you appropriated and what was approved by the voters. I've got a couple of people that have either lent the town an item in there, whether it's a vacuum cleaner. I've got a resident that donated a piece of equipment that now is basically saying, you know, if the town is going to dispose of it, I mean, she intended on, you know, it being used there, so now she'd like it back if that's the case. Is there going to be a final decision? You know, am I saying that the gym is closed permanently, or is there going to be continued conversation? What are we doing?
I thought we were going to continue to talk about it. We had talked about maybe in the fall having to have special town meeting. Thank you. I don't know what the other two think, but that's kind of where I thought we left off. Ed, David?
well, I guess I'm not in favor of opening it again. We don't have personnel in there to watch things, to clean things. Clean being the ultimate problem. You know, people can say we clean the machines before and after we use them, but I don't know. I'm just concerned that it, you know, may or may not be happening. So.
I think right now at this point, I mean, we're still on Zoom, via Zoom for our selectmen's meetings. Where we're standing right now with the whole COVID thing, it's really right now kind of hard to even think about even opening anything up right now. So we're not even allowed to have our meetings together. So why we would be wanting to have people congregate at the gym? I think there's a little bit too much responsibility at the moment, but I'm not against talking about it later on when we start opening things completely up. But until we know what's going on here, I just think it's probably a subject that's probably not something we want to talk about until we know what's going on in the future here with opening everything up, all that. So
when would the board like to see it back on the agenda?
How about when we're back in the hall?
Okay.
I mean, that would,
That's a good idea.
that way. Okay. We can't hear you.
Which brings me to my next item.
Okay, what's your next item?
The hall use. So there was a road organization. There was a couple of people that asked for the hall to be used in August, and the board said no. So now I have someone reaching out to me in September that would like to use the hall. Just a personal event, 20, 30 people tops. So within the guidelines, they certainly complete it before and after. But I also have a committee that is looking to possibly start meeting again in September. We're talking about a committee of 5 with probably very little public interest. Well, I shouldn't say public interest. Very little public participation. So she reached out to me looking at possibly meeting in September. So I know the board had originally said August. You put it off. Thoughts on that?
Can you jog my memory? Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, I feel like until we're meeting, should we really be letting other people come in? I mean,
we're not meeting in August at all.
Right.
So that makes sense that you've turned down the August use.
Right, but how do we know about September? Because we don't know what we're going to be doing, I guess.
I mean, honestly, we probably could be meeting. You know what I mean? We could be meeting if it wasn't for the planning board and the amount of people and you trying to maybe keep everybody on the same page. We probably could be meeting in person in August. I mean, the meeting we had Monday, everything's set up. We're spaced far enough apart. It seems like it could work. I think by September, as long as we're within the governor's executive order, I don't see a reason that you can't allow the hall use to be used. They're not going to have more than 50 people. People still have to be able to make their own decision if they want to go to said event. Do they want to go to the restaurant? Do they want to go to the hair salon? We still have to be able to make those choices. If it's clean before and after,
then I think, as long as they clean and stuff, I would hope we're all back in September.
One of the events for September, person reached out to me. It's the same person that reached out to Jennifer. It's for a birthday party, and it's family, and assured that they were all well vetted. And then I can't give any more details.
I was going to say, don't do it,
No,
Edward.
I'm not.
Don't do it.
I can't give any more details, but I'm going to tell you that the people coming in are not going to expose anything that they know of. So they're going to be extremely careful. So
And like this,
I'd like to start allowing it, especially this particular event.
Okay.
So, Jennifer,
we lost her.
I'm here.
Is that?
Yeah.
As long as they follow, whatever our guidelines are, whatever they are, then.
And I can work with them to make sure that we have extra precautions in place.
Yeah.
But I agree with it. Based on the situation and the circumstances around this, and, I can tell the other two individually off the record if you'd like, kind of a personal matter. I agree. I don't think you have any concerns. And the governor does allow up to 50 people, so.
Yeah, and they'd said about 25. This is an individual that reached out to me. It's got nothing to do with me. Not my family or anything like that, but the event, this particular event, and it would be extremely appreciative if we would let them in. So.
And they've given a lot to the town. Let's say that.
They have, yeah. So, yeah. I don't have the exact date in front of me.
So so if we can, if you can okay that, I guess. So if you're okay with us, I'll start bringing anybody that brings a September event to you or brings up a September event. We can deal with them as a per case basis, if you'd like. The committee that's interested is the cemetery committee. They're interested in meeting. So we're talking about 5 or 6 people.
If we're opening up, then, I don't think we really need to pick and choose as long as, they, adhere to the social distancing and, whatever it is, building, how many people are allowed in and that kind of stuff. What do you two think?
I'm fine with it.
As of September,
Yep.
If things change, then they change.
Yep.
Yeah, I think what we really ought to do right now is set a date. I know I kind of wishy-washed and decided, threw that out there about August. So why don't we set a date of September 1st, allowing up to so many to state guidelines and roll with it.
Yep. And I would say that if a particular committee doesn't wish to do it and they still want to do Zoom, I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
We're just making it available. We're not saying you have to do it, live anymore. Live. You can do it live via Zoom.
Honestly, I'm thinking it might be beneficial, even in the long haul. You have some of these committees there that, say the cemetery committee or the forestry committee or something like that. This might be even easier for them to get, not having to worry about, conflicts with other meetings in the town hall and stuff. They might even be able to still do it this way.
Yep.
Being a benefit to them.
Leave it up to the committee to,
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. All right.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay,
So, next, you thought you were going to get away with two?
No.
Next item, I just wanted to confirm, and I wanted to hear from your mouths for my paper trail. Effective August 1st, I am removing everybody from the Town of Acton's drug testing program except for the 2 road commissioners. Is that correct?
Yes.
yes. The way we voted and the way the
Right.
budgets and whatnot are set, we no longer have employees that drive commercial vehicles,
Right.
other than the 2 road commissioners.
David?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I just want to be sure. I like to, before I send it off and sign off. And next item, I just want to let you know that I have been working with the fire chief, and we have, he's put together all the specs for the replacement tanker. And I put a document together that just says the Town of Acton is currently accepting sealed bids for the purchase of a replacement tanker. Please find the attached bid specifications or find them online at www.actonmaine.org. Questions regarding the specs should be directed to Chief Smith at, please return your sealed bid to the Town Administrator, Town of Acton, no later than 3 p.m. on August 19th. Do not drop bids off at the fire station. So we put that together. We've got all his specs on there. It's been emailed to the liaison, and we will get it posted online and start running it. We've got a list of companies that are waiting for it. I just wanted to let you know that that was out there. Next item, just FYI that we are filing tax liens at the registry tomorrow. We have 114 tax liens that we're filing tomorrow. Remember, a lien has to be on the property for 18 months before the Town of Acton can do anything, so do not fret. You still have plenty of time if you are one of those 114. Next item that I have is in regards to, this came from a conversation that I've had with a couple of you individually, in regards to committees and emails. Now, I mean, we're in 2020, 90% of us have email access. I know that as we're having conversations about reappointments of committee members, and you guys have seen the emails, that a couple of emails that we've gotten that come across saying, is it safe to assume that if I send an email to this person, that the whole committee is getting it? And the discussion, so I just kind of wanted to have a discussion around that in regards to, email addresses and where do we stand at this point with, I hate to use the word because it's a terrible word to use, force, but can we insist? I mean, some of these committees, we have to make sure that they get the documents. And, if the town provides email addresses, if they don't have a smartphone at home, either spouse, or they don't have internet at home, we have the library, we have the town. We're having trouble making sure all the documents are getting out, and email is the best way. I know one of you mentioned, possibly making it a requirement for being on a committee. It may be a bit harsh, or at least the ability to check it, or somebody signing off saying they will check it somewhere, somehow. It doesn't have to be at your home.
If if you're on a committee, you will get an email address and everything that comes through will be going there. I don't know what either one of you two feel about that, but I mean, at least we know that anything that comes in will be emailed to, if you're on a committee, you can access it there. I don't know.
I think it's the best way to communicate nowadays. I mean, it's almost like having an address, a home address,
Right.
or your number on your house or whatever. I mean,
And if you didn't have email, couldn't you still come into the town hall and say, I'd like to, get everything that's in my email printed out? I'm just thinking of, okay, maybe we have 2 or 3 that don't have it. I don't know.
Yeah, so we have we certainly have a workstation. I mean, we are often calling insurance companies and doing other things like that. I mean, we certainly have workstations that, that could be utilized. If we use a planning board, for example, if it was planning board, they have a full-time secretary. I don't see why they couldn't, utilize that workstation if necessary.
No, because not everybody has it, but I mean, we could still
Absolutely.
set it up so that we know that it is going there. And then, if you're on a committee, you have an email, even if you can't get it from home, you could at least.
So what happens, I guess what happens if the committee members just refuse to check it? I mean, is the town covered when it comes down to, well, we sent it via email? How does that part play out?
I'd say that's a legal question for our attorney. Or
At the end of
MMA.
the day,
Actually, I'd send it to MMA on that one.
if the only way, if you set up an email account for every single board member, you give them the opportunity to come to the town hall to check it if they can't check it from home or wherever. Okay, at least we have our paper trail. The only other way we could do that would be to certify letter it to make sure that we could do that if they request that. But
Right.
to do it the way like Kim was talking is set up, an email for everybody that gives them the opportunity to check it. If they don't, that's on them.
Right, and if they have a hard time, they can always come in, whether it's a planning board, rec, or, whoever.
Or in finance, anybody.
They could come in and say, listen, could you print out the last week's emails for me? Or, and let them know when they get on a committee, this is something, that we do.
Well, by doing it, what ends up happening is we've made the attempt to make sure this information is out there. And there's a paper trail, and unless they make a specific request that they want it sent to their home or wherever, I think this is really the easiest way to make sure, there's a paper trail.
And there's nothing wrong with, packets that are made. I know before Warren and Finance Committee members, we put packets together and so forth. But some committees have a lot of documents coming in on a regular basis. And, in an effort to make sure that everybody gets them, at least we put it out there via email. And we're here to help anybody that needs any help getting into those email accounts. Okay. I think that's all I have tonight, Madam Chair.
That's all you have, all right. So I guess it's warrant and bills. I went in, I signed. We have David.
And
I'll be in tomorrow at lunch.
Okay.
And a late one came in from one of the road commissioners. Did we get signatures on that one?
I did.
Okay. Did you see that one, Ed?
Is that the one that there was 2 in one file?
Yeah, it was a separate warrant because it came in a little late.
Wasn't a whole lot of money.
Yeah. I don't know how much it was. You just came in tonight, Ed?
Yes.
Okay, so so it would have been.
There was 2 in one and 1 in the other. So.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, and David, we'll see you, or Michelle will see you tomorrow.
Due time, so yep.
All right. The next is the approval of the agenda, but I haven't had a chance to read it, and I don't know if either one of you.
This would be agenda, not minutes.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm skipping.
Well, you got me earlier.
So let's approve the agenda.
Madam-
Approve the agenda.
Madam Chair.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda, but
No.
add D.
Good job, Ed.
No what?
No, you got it. I interrupted you. Sorry.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda, but add D, approve the liquor license for KB Enterprises, under D, under new business.
Alrighty. Alrighty, so you've made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second that.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All right, let's take a vote. Ed?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Yes. All right, now we will move on to the minutes of the last meeting that I haven't read.
Make a
Make a
Uh,
motion. We have, oop,
Hey,
go
make a
ahead.
motion, we table that. I haven't read it either.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna say. Can we table it till next week? I haven't read it. All right, so we'll table it?
Yep.
All right, what's next? People, department heads, committee chairs?
You probably ought to call for a vote.
We got a vote on that? Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so can we call for a vote on that?
As long as we get a second to it.
Yep, can we get a second?
I'll second that.
All right, now we can vote. So, yep. How about you, David?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, for me too. All right. Department heads, committee chair updates, anything? Oh, look, I see a hand. What would you like, Jennifer?
Life is $1 million, a 64 Mustang. Oh, sorry. Would you like me to turn everybody's cameras on? So this was cameras and video, and I asked you this, Madam Chair, because this was the week that you were going to start allowing public comment and people that didn't have to ask in advance. So I can't tell you if there's any department head or committee chairs, because based on your statement last week,
I said I would try it?
Yes.
All right, well, let's do it then. I said I'd do it, so.
All right.
All right.
So again, to the people, I will try to turn all of yours on. Some members are on committees. If you want to turn it on and be spoken, I'm going to keep everybody muted unless you raise your hand and the chairman calls on you. All right, Madam Chair, I believe I have completed it.
Okay.
So.
I don't
see any hands.
I don't see any hands either. No department heads. Nobody have anything to say? Okay. So do we move on to old business? All right. All right. We have the personnel policy on here for A. Has anybody had a chance to read over the personnel policy?
I've looked it over several times. I don't see anything really that needs to be changed at the moment.
I mean, what about you, David?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
You think it's fine? I mean, I've read it. I'm good. We're all good. Okay, Jennifer.
So the treasurer has a couple of changes under Article 9, which is the holiday. It says that as of July 1st, 2019, the holidays listed below are paid holidays for full-time and probationary employees, providing the holiday falls on a day that's normally worked by the employee, period. She thinks that we should get rid of the last sentence, giving you the right to add additional holidays. Year's Day is just going to be changed to New Year's Day, because that's a typo. Columbus Day has been renamed by the governor, so that's going to be corrected or updated to Indigenous People Day.
Indigenous people.
Thank you. Yeah. On B, so that's one change on B. The next page over, and I didn't put this in your packets. I'm sorry, because the chair, we were going to table it. Shall I wait until you all have it in front of you?
Yeah, I'd like to see it. If that's okay
so
with everybody.
I'm going to scan and send you for next week the proposed changes in pink. Most of them are all just pertaining to the healthcare change that you made,
Right.
PPO time. So we'll put it on the agenda for next week.
Okay. All righty. B, we have the RSMS.
So I did send an email out in regards to the RSMS to start getting some training on the input of the program. I got a response saying that effective June 1st, Peter Coughlin was in charge of that. I did send him an email on July 23rd. Haven't gotten a response yet, and I think Kim, while you were here today, I left him a voicemail as well. No response. In the meantime, I downloaded the user guide and have emailed it to both road commissioners. I believe the liaison received that as well. Kim, you
I
asked
got
me for
one.
that, did you? And you
Yeah.
got it too, right?
Yep, I printed it out, yes.
So, we just, I mean,
We need
I can
training
wait
for
and
that.
wait.
Oh.
Sorry. So I guess maybe next week I'll have more information. I had
Okay.
a brief conversation with one of the road commissioners that was in today. Until we can see the inside of the program, I mean, we've logged into the server where the program is stored. And Michelle and I have played around with the input. Until we can see exactly everything that the program will allow you to store, it's hard to change the timesheet. But essentially, that's what we want to do. We want to change their timesheet to coincide with anything that the program will allow them to record, so that it can go from the timesheet to the system. But we're just, I mean, we're not there yet because we don't, because we're trying to get some training on the actual input.
Now, a few years ago, people went out and measured roads and stuff.
And all that
Is that
data is in there. And I would
Okay.
encourage any of the board members to come in if they wanted to. When you, and I'm at work, so I can kind of see it at the same time. When you go into the program, there are lots of very intriguing reports that can be run and data that you can pull, and that's all from the data entry that the road committee and others entered. I'm just trying to figure out where, like on Sanborn Road, if I wanted to add a culvert, I'm not seeing a place for the data entry per se.
Okay,
So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
all right.
But I encourage anybody, you know, I don't know if there's anybody from the road committee that might be able to go through some of this. But I mean, I feel like I'm pretty, you know, computer literate. I'm looking at the system now, and a lot of it seems to be read only. So I'm not sure if I'm missing a step, but
Well, hopefully Peter will get a hold of you soon, and maybe we can get, you know, all of us together and get a training in and
yep. And
do all this stuff.
the one road commissioner I spoke to was very, you know, in tune about it. And David, I've asked the other one to reach out to you. I'm not sure if that's happened yet.
It has not.
All right, well, I guess we're just waiting on him to get back to us and get this thing going, I guess. I guess that's it for that. We want to move on to new business. A is resignations.
You have two. I printed off the emails that came into your packet.
Yeah, I have two of them, so I'll read them. Let's see here. Actually, let me put my glasses on so I can see. All right. So this says Read Board of Selectmen. I have thoroughly enjoyed working with the people of the Town of Acton Planning Board since I began as an alternative 4 years ago. Now as chair, I can state that there is not a board or committee that is more dedicated to the people of this community. I am disappointed in the lack of professionalism shown in the mitigations of differences and conflicts at the Board of Selectmen's executive session on July 27, 2020. I am grateful for my time with my board in the service of the Acton community. I remain hopeful that the planning board will continue their work in the maintenance of the highest quality and care regarding local ordinances and permits in the interest of the townspeople. I render my resignation as chair and member of the Town of Acton Planning Board effective immediately. I request the Town of Acton email address assigned to me, PB1 be disabled today. Sincerely, Joyce L. Bakshi. I'm sorry to get this. Joyce has put a lot of time and hard work into this town and our planning board, and she was definitely an asset, and we're gonna miss her. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in this, but I'll make a motion to accept the resignation with regret.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Okay, so we'll take a vote. Ed?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And regretfully, yes. All right. And I have another one here. To the Board of Selectmen. With great reluctance, I tender my resignation from the planning board effective immediately. I have enjoyed my tenure with the board. However, it has become unattainable to continue in this position. Statements made by one member of the Board of Selectmen has severely undermined the effectiveness of this board. The chair of the planning board was extremely competent and effective and brought integrity and leadership to the board. I immensely enjoy working with her along with the rest of the board. Regretfully, Leslie Berlin. Again, really sorry that you're leaving us. You've been another huge asset. And put a lot of hard work into these committees.
Yeah, I'll mirror the same thing I just said. I mean, it's I'm sorry that she feels that she has to do this. So, make a motion. We accept the resignation with regret.
I'll second that.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded. No questions. Take a vote, Ed.
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and regretfully, yes. All right. All right, we'll go on to B, appointments.
So in your packet, I guess a few things to talk about.
One on the top shelf?
I can hear somebody.
It's gonna be all right.
Need to make sure these are muted. Yeah.
So in regards to the appointments, where we left off last week, you guys all have that list in front of you.
Yes.
Can't hear you, Jen.
So if you look at the list in front of you, Board of Assessment review, we still haven't, we're gonna get to that. Capital Improvement Committee, so as I understand it, and this is just news that I got from the chair, one of these individuals is no longer interested in being on this committee. Is that correct, Kimberly?
Yes.
Okay. I have not checked with another individual. I don't know that anything's changed, so I don't know what the board wants to do in regards to that. Last week, you asked for information on the capital improvements. Michelle put together a nice packet for all of you in a folder with some policies and ideas and things that surrounding towns had regarding capital improvements. So,
Right.
you know,
I'd like to put this off another week or so. I know we need to call.
So I'm calling the second individual. I've spoken to, so I have spoken to, the last two are all set.
Okay.
The third one is, the third is the one they said is no longer interested.
Yes.
All right. And the second one, I guess I need to check with.
Yep.
Okay. The Cemetery Committee, the applicants are in your packet. I have confirmed with Mr. Waterhouse, Ms. Michoud, and Ms. Perella that they are all interested in being reappointed. So I would be looking for a motion to appoint those three to the Cemetery Committee for a 1-year period.
Okay. All right. So should I read this out first and then certificate of appointment title 30A MRSA 2602 from the Selectmen's Office, Municipality of Acton, Maine. The Selectmen of the Municipality of Acton do in accordance with the provisions of the laws of the state of Maine hereby appoint you as Cemetery Committee member within and for the Municipality of Acton until June 30th, 2021, given under a hand this 29th day of July, 2020. And all three of these are the same dates. Should I read out the names? So we've got Roland Waterhouse, Lois Machad, and Steve Perello.
Make a motion. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, no. I'll make a motion. We appoint Roland Waterhouse, Lois Michoud, and Steve Perello the cemetery committee as a cemetery committee member.
Seconded.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All right, let's vote. Ed?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Yes for me. All right, so we'll need to come in and sign these tomorrow?
They are in your folder.
Okay. All right, so we'll have it here.
Jennifer,
Yes, sir.
on the list you gave us, Roland and Lois are not up until next year.
We just updated that.
Oh, okay.
And John, expected you to sign it tonight, sorry.
Okay.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here in the office.
Sounds good.
Well, the efficiency.
Over efficient.
Thank you, good catch. Yeah, I did ask Cheryl to update them based on, I'm trying to get through them.
Okay.
All right, we've got,
The
is it,
other committees, so I'm going to ask the board to, we need to schedule an executive session. We actually need to schedule two. Hoping to schedule them on Monday. We've got a couple of committee members for a different committee that need to speak to the board, and a couple of people that might be interested that need to speak to the board. What is your earliest availability on Mondays?
5:30.
Can you make that work, David, Kim?
I can,
Okay.
yep.
So, with your permission, I will schedule two. One being there'll be two different executive sessions regarding the committee matter.
I just have a question.
So we're gonna.
With executive sessions, do we have to, is it so many days? Do you have to put it out there so many days before we have an executive session? This is just is it like 10 days or 7 or, I didn't know. That's why I'm asking.
So it depends on who is involved and if it's an employee and what rights. I mean, you have a policy that says 7 days, 10 days. I mean, we can push it out further than that. I mean, you're kind of in a time crunch now with your resignation that you have, and you know what, major items before a board. You guys, you waived it for the 10-day notice for prior committees because of their intensity. But there's, I mean, nobody's being disciplined. There's no rights being violated. These are just informational. Yes, ma'am. So we're in the middle of a live meeting, and I have not received a resignation from him. So if you can pick that up and let him know. I'm sorry, my phone is ringing, and I'm in the office.
Do you want to take it? Do you want us to wait?
I can mute myself. You guys can talk. I'll talk.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay. So 5:30 on Monday?
Do you want to go down to D and do
That's what I was wondering.
renewal?
Can we do that?
I don't see why not.
Let me pull it up here. All right, so let's do D. So I guess I need a motion to accept, and it would be KB Restaurant Enterprise Incorporated's new liquor license, doing business as The Shed at 1060 Route 109.
I'll make a motion that we approve the liquor license for KB Restaurant Enterprises.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any other? Oh,
Census
All right.
data.
all right, well, I guess we
All right.
probably need to take a vote, right, Ed?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, David?
Yes.
Okay, and yes for me. So it's liquor license. We did the liquor license while you were gone. Okay.
So I did try to pick up the call. It is, I don't know if it's somewhere in the transfer picture line. There was nobody there when I pushed in. The individual is indicating that he sent me an email first thing this morning. I am at my office. I'm looking at it. My first email came in at 6:55 from Mr. Crespi, and my last email just came in at 6:59 from myself when I scanned and emailed the memo of understanding back to Carl Davis for another email for more information. I've got probably about 20 emails during the day, and I just don't have any from the planning board members. So If you're watching, I apologize. I don't have it. There's nothing I can do about it. You're welcome to resend it, put it on the agenda for next week. Unless the board wants to speak otherwise.
No,
Or if anybody else got it.
Nope.
I don't have it. I was just looking.
I'll double check, but not likely.
Yeah, I don't see it here. All right, well, we could do C under new business, which is census data.
So the Census Bureau has reached out, and they've reached out to Maine Municipal as well, trying to see if the towns can assist. So if you look at Maine Municipal, I included that in your packet, didn't I? That census data needed,
Yeah.
Maine can do better. So apparently we're at only a 54% response from the state of Maine. And in the highlighted section, census officials are asking municipal leaders to help with the data collection effort, noting that millions of dollars in federal funding can hang in the balance for Maine. And the second page gives kind of some ideas, sample messages. If anybody wants to put them out there, or if you want to advertise it in places, that's your call.
Might be good to try to advertise it, you know. We do it like online or just kind of maybe a blurb? Yeah.
With the board's permission, I mean, I can put.
What do you guys think to try to?
Website.
Yeah, I definitely put it out. Try to get as much, try to get it out there as much as you can.
Yeah, because it's got a website here and a phone number. Maybe that would be easier for people than filling out the form. They could call and do it that way or do it online.
Yep.
Okay, so I will try to get it advertised this week.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to move on to public comment.
Yeah, Mr. Waterhouse has his hand up. I'm going to start with him.
Okay.
Just a second, Roland. Oh, there you go.
Here I am.
Hello.
I have a couple of questions. One concerning executive session, and this is for you, Jennifer.
Yes, sir.
What is your role in an executive session?
Whatever role the Board of Selectmen deem necessary.
Nothing specific?
It depends. I mean, in an executive session, I could be the person making a complaint about someone. I could be the person that a complaint is being made against. I could be the administrator that is, that's provided a list of concerns that the board wants to remember to go over with, individual or committee. I mean, every executive session varies.
Understand. Is there any note taking?
99% of the time there is not. In some cases, if the Board of Selectmen are making a list of things to discuss, there could be a list. And generally it would be destroyed afterwards. Nothing leaves the executive session. But no notes are generally taken. No notes are taken.
Question for the Board of Selectmen, and all of you can weigh in. What do you intend on doing with the vacancies that you have created on the planning board?
I like to chime in on that. First of all, we did not create this. We brought in an individual on that board to go over some concerns. As far as I looked at it, everybody was going to point it back in but we had to speak with this one individual about concerns that other committee members had and public people had.
Yeah, be careful, David. David.
I know, I understand. And unfortunately, what's being put out is we created this. We did not create this issue.
Neither here nor there. I mean, what we have to do is fill the slots. I mean, that's our job, so that's what we're going to have to do.
I understand that, and it's going to be rather difficult to get somebody to volunteer for this committee who has any knowledge whatsoever as far as what the planning board has to do. Not to mention the fact that they're going to have to try and get up to speed on various projects which are currently under review by the planning board.
Yep.
I mean, you know, I know of 4 people who said they're leaving the planning board. 2 of them, you already have their resignation. The other 2 are forthcoming, I assume, but maybe not. Irregardless, you know.
We're gonna
It's
have to
like-
deal with it, just like we had
Well-
to deal with the fact that both of the road commissioners left us.
Yep.
I understand.
Right?
and that was
I mean, we're gonna have to figure it out. We're gonna have to, you know, try to find somebody who is really, really willing to, I mean, they're gonna have to put a lot of time and energy into getting caught up, because there is a lot going on this planning board. You know, these people that are leaving, you know, they put a lot of time and energy. And so, you know, I know where you're coming from, Roland. We're going to have to find people that are really going to be committed to doing some studying and getting up to speed.
And if I can just chime in, I know that you called on the selectmen, Roland, but the board will seek legal advice if necessary, and if that means putting things off before, you know, until we can make sure we have a fair, unbiased planning board like we had before these members chose to resign, then the board will have to step in and do that. I mean, they will make sure that no applicant's rights and nothing is violated. You know, the major project that I think everybody is thinking about hasn't even had the public hearing yet, so there is some time, and the board is going to advertise it. And you know, there is already 3 or 4 people that are interested, that were interested before any of this even happened. So the board may just choose to meet with them, but certainly we will get legal advice to make sure that all of the applicants and everybody involved is, you know, everything's handled properly. But like Leslie said, I'm sorry, like Kim said, you know, the board didn't do this, just similar to when the road commissioners resigned. That was a choice they made.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and argue that point. You know, after a certain selectman, and David Winchell, you're the selectman, made the comment there were a couple of individuals on the planning board who could not work with other people on the board. That's a complete misstatement. No one on that board. I'm sorry?
When was this? When did I say
Last
this?
week's meeting. You want to see it on tape? Go review it.
I said what now?
You said there were a couple of bad apples or a couple of people, problem people on the planning board.
But I never said that they couldn't work with other people. I said,
yes,
if
you did.
There is a couple bad apples, okay, we have, and there's complaints, okay? We had complaints.
What complaint did you ever receive on Joyce?
I'm gonna.
This is not something we should really
No. Okay.
No.
Now, what was in that meeting was supposed to stay in that meeting. Unfortunately, it didn't stay in that meeting. Obviously, on the other side, that's why we have all these people quitting, okay? And they don't know what was actually said in that meeting, okay? Now, when we were talking about this last week, we have appointments to be made. If there were some concerns, then we had to address them before we made the appointment. That's all we were doing, okay? Now, when I said a couple bad apples, I didn't want to make it so I was pointing out one person.
I knew exactly who you were talking about.
Well, maybe you did, okay? Maybe, and I don't understand the other person at all. I'm not going to get into that. What was in that executive session was done because of issues that we thought we had to deal with.
Do you have any?
Again, as I said, there was who ever complained about Joyce? No one. No.
I'm going
And
to.
you made a statement.
That's not something we can talk about. Okay, Roland, do you have any other questions for us? I mean, this could go on for hours. So
I'm not done stirring the pot, folks.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I mean, as far as this issue is concerned, I understand executive session is supposed to remain executive session. However, there were certain things that were said at that executive session to the individual, which never should have been said. At no point in time, at no point in time should any volunteer be told, if you say one thing about what was discussed at this executive session, you will never serve on another committee or board. again.
Well, I can tell you I didn't say that.
I
So-
know you didn't, and I know exactly who did say that.
Well, I think, Roland, I think you're out of place here.
You can think whatever you want, David.
You do not know what was said in that meeting. You're taking the word of one person, okay? And we're in public now. Remember this, okay? That we're in public, and you're taking secondhand information, and you're telling us that we're doing wrong in this, and not even being in the room, okay? I think this discussion, what was said in that executive session, we should have stayed in that. We thought we tried keeping it as professional as possible. And when we left there, I felt we were all on the same page. Now, what you were told may obviously be different.
I don't have an agenda, and I have no goals. And
Obviously,
as far as I'm concerned, the individual was mistreated.
Thank you
I'm
for,
done.
thank you for, speaking up, Roland. Do we have anybody else that has any public comments?
I just want to add my 2 cents into this, and that is, we'll never know at this point who is going to be reappointed or not. I do believe that all individuals were at least going to be put forward to be reappointed, because I was going to do that. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm disappointed that the 2 individuals chose to resign, but it is what it is. So, Roland, it'd be a good spot for you. So, okay, I got that. Okay, that's all I want to say.
Any other public comments? Seeing none, do we want to move to announcements? Do we have any announcements, anybody?
I do not.
Nope. Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right. No further discussion, so, so moved. It's been seconded, so, let's take a vote. Ed?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming.